Friends, it's Ellie here. Uh, Hello. Shalom, everybody. Man. So, I'm gonna wait for a little bit before I get into the details, but I'm gonna go ahead and get into it and everything. As y'all can tell by the title, I had to remove myself from the world for about 2 days. There were different situations going on, and I was like, you know what? This is all a little too much. So, therefore, to prevent myself from getting out of the character I'm building, let me just remove myself from every situation temporarily, because I'm not the type of person. Sun Eater said, peace, shalom. I'm not the type of person to just cut people off and quit. Kai Supreme Zendra 1111 says, peace, reflection, peace. So yeah, I'm not the type of person to just cut people off or quit. But I do know when enough is enough. So I'm the type of person, I will confront an issue or confront a situation, even if it's not an issue or a problem. I'm just very, very direct. And I realize that makes some people uncomfortable, but at the same time, I don't really give a fuck, because it's how are you uncomfortable with someone addressing a situation with you, but you don't want to be uncomfortable talking about the situation with other people, you know? And it was several situations like that. It's not just one situation. There is one that's very prominent that I've been dealing with. Pro says, you look beautiful, goddess. Glad you were addressing things. I'm the same way. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And yes, we have to address things. And people, especially people nowadays, you can't even have a full-on conversation with people without them okay, say you call somebody. They're quick to not answer your call, but they'll text you when it's not necessary. Because it's different. What's good, goddess? BJ says, what's good? What's good, God? But it's okay, if I am picking up my son from school, right? I'm just saying random stuff. My son doesn't go to school. I'm just using that as an example. And the teacher wants all the parents to come in the classroom for a minute so they could talk about some stuff and then leave. If somebody calls me in that situation, I'll be like, no, I can't take your call. Let me text you. The teacher might not be, all up in my face, so I can spare looking down at my phone every once in a while to answer these text messages, but I definitely can't step out to take a call about this situation. This is my child. I'm not going to talk to you about some petty ass shit when I'm here for my child, So, goddess of Kai says, peace, goddess, peace. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Now, if you're just saying, oh, I need to text you when you're not busy and you can't take a phone call because you don't want to address a situation verbally, that's where I got an issue. And my thing is, I can read energy. I can tell when somebody's lying to me. Don't tell me you're busy and you can't take a phone call right now if you're not actually busy and can't take a phone call right now. Now, if you straight up with me and say, I don't want to have a verbal conversation because I'm uncomfortable, that's different. At least you're being honest with me. Cool. Okay, we can text back and forth. Let's get this hashed out over, as much as we can. Don't lie to me, though. Because that's different. You can be straight. I'm that type of person. I'm absolute facts. Yes, 100. Yes. Because, okay, using an example with my ex-husband, right? He used to hate this, but I'm this is the only way I could talk to you, because every time we start verbally speaking, we argue. Facts, I'm very good with picking up energy as well. Yes, we all are. A lot of us are empathic, or, we feel energies and all that type of stuff. So it makes sense. But I was to him, I was listen, us talking verbally isn't going to work right now because you don't like listening to me when I get a particular type of way. So how about I write notes? How about I text you? How about we text back and forth? Can we work something out to where we're still communicating just not verbally, because I don't want to argue. And him being like immature at the time, he would be like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, we tried it sometimes and it would actually work, but he felt like, no, we should be mature enough to have this conversation. Well, obviously we're not mature enough to have this conversation. If we can't verbally communicate without arguing, we need to have a different outlet, because we still need to have this discussion. It just may not be verbal right now. So we're going to have to text. We're going to have to, write down notes, because we still have to get this topic discussed. We still have to resolve this issue. So it's not like we could just avoid it. That was his thing. Like, he would always avoid stuff until, like, it was unbearable anymore. And I'm like, I'm not that type of person. When I see that there's an issue, I address it immediately so we don't have a growing problem. I don't do snowball effects. Like, I'm cool with the avalanche because, like, you can't really control an avalanche. 2020 was an avalanche. Even though it was a snowball behind the scenes, for everybody else, it was an avalanche. It could have been avoided in that snowball form, but you know how the elites are. They weren't going to take care of the snowball like I would have. The people couldn't do anything about the avalanche, though. I'd much rather deal with the avalanche than a snowball that I could have prevented.